Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Miss Glen and Friends Read On. I'm so happy that you all joined us for our last reading for this week. No readings on Friday, and we have our special guest returning, Miss Waymyers here. I see that Kennedy and Sean, you've already joined us. So to anyone else who's watching, and to those who are even watching the replay, I'd love to see your name in the comments so I'll know who we have viewing with us. And at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our reader for tonight.
Hey guys, I'm glad to be back again. Um, I always have a hard time choosing a book for you guys. One because I have so many, and I'm like, I want to read them all, but I can't. So today I chose for you the book called 4 Feet, Two Sandals, and it's written by Karen Lynn Williams and Kaja Muhammad, and the illustrator is Joe Shakuya. And as I read the book, I want you to think about what it means to be a good friend and some of the themes that might be inside the book. And as you see some of those things, or you want to comment about what you think it means to be a good friend, put them in the. All right. Lena raced barefoot to the camp entrance where relief workers threw used clothes out the back of a truck. Everyone pushed and fought for the best clothes. Lena squatted and reached, grabbing what she could. The crowd began to leave. In the dust at Lena's feet laid a brand new sandal. It was yellow with a blue flower in the middle. And when she slipped it on her foot, it fit perfectly. Lena was 10, but she had not worn shoes for 2 years. Why do you think she might not have worn shoes for 2 years? And there's Lena and the little blue sandal. She looked around for the matching sandal. A girl stood nearby. She was thinner and darker than Lena, and she wore a blue and yellow sandal. Assalamu alaikum, Lena greeted her. Peace be with you. The girl only stared. She was dressed in a shakarmi. Her feet were cracked and swollen, as Lena had been when she first arrived at the camp. Suddenly, the girl turned, taking the matching sandal with her. So there's the other little girl that has the other sandal. In the morning, Lena went to do the washing, wearing one beautiful sandal. She picked her way to the stream, careful to keep her sandal out of the filth. Her old shoes had been ruined on the many miles of walking from Afghanistan to Peshawar, the refugee camp in Pakistan. She had carried her brother Najib, no bigger than a water jug then, but just as heavy. So she's going to the stream and she's wearing that one sandal. And so you figured out these folks have been displaced from their home and they are in a refugee camp. So it's where people go when they're fleeing their country because of war or famine or different major events. When she looked up from her scrubbing, the girl from yesterday was standing over her. She wore one sandal that she bent over and removed. Grandma says it's stupid to wear only one. She placed the sandal at Lena's feet. Then she turned and walked away. Wait! Lena grabbed both sandals and followed her. I am Lena. The girl turned slowly. I am Feroza. Lena held the sandals out. We can share. What good is one sandal for 2 feet? Feroza frowned. You wear them both today, and I will wear them tomorrow. Lena smiled. 4 feet, two sandals. Feroza smiled too. She took the sandals and put them on. Tomorrow, they will be yours. So they don't have much, and they decided to share the sandals since neither of them have shoes. The two girls greeted each other as they carried their jugs for water the next day. Lena put the sandals on and they waited together in the long line. So they're sharing. Everyone in the camp was waiting for a new home. Mama went to the meeting about being resettled. The girls stayed in Lena's tent with Isma and Jahid. They were careful to keep the sandals away from the two boys, but Isma wanted to pull at the flowers and Jahid wanted to chew on them. My father and sister were killed in the war, Lena told her friend. Mama and I had to run with Isma and Jahid in the night. Forenza nodded and two tears ran down her cheek. I have only my grandmother now. So what are the girls sharing besides the shoes? They share the shoes, but what else are they sharing? When they did not have work to do, Lena and Faranza crept up to the windows of the school and peeked inside. The school was small with only enough room for the boys to study. The girls practiced their names in the dirt and brushed the marks away so no one would see their mistakes. Sometimes each girl wore one sandal. Other children pointed and giggled, but Lena and Faranza did not care. And in their culture, it is the boys are educated first, and the girls are sometimes educated, but they are mostly expected to take care of the home. So they were watching what the boys were learning and then copying it with their own names and things in the dirt, and then they would erase it. In the evenings, the sky turned deep blue and the first stars began to sparkle. Lena Faranza watched for the sliver of the crescent moon that signaled the beginning of Ramadan. They shared memories and whispered their dreams for a new home. One morning, they went to the stream and washed their sandals to keep them looking new. Excuse me. Lena, come quick! Faranza's grandmother called. Your mother says your name is on the list. Faranza grabbed the sandals. The two girls ran ahead to the office. And this grandma up on the hill. Lena stood on tippy toes and squinted at the sign. Mama's name is here. We're going to America. She looked at her friend. My name is not there, Faranza said quietly. She looked at her feet as she spoke. Then she bent down and took the sandals off. She handed them to Lena. You cannot go barefoot to America. Faranza gave Lena a hug. When it was time to leave, the relief worker gave Mama a large square white bag with numbers on it. All of your important papers are in this bag, he said. Forenza and her grandmother came to say goodbye. Lena pointed at her feet. Look, Mama saved her sewing money. She has bought us shoes for America. Real shoes. Forenza admired the new black leather. Here, Lena said, is your day to wear these. The tears in her eyes were not for the sandals. Asalaka Lincoln, Forenza said as she took the faded yellow and blue sandals. Peace be with you. Lena followed the others to the bus. Wait, Forenza called as she ran to her friend. You must keep one. She handed Lena one sandal. What good is one sandal? It's good to remember, Forenza. Forenza held up the other sandal. 4 feet, 2 sandals. Lena felt the tears make a trail down her cheek. She slipped the sandal into her bag and climbed on the bus. Lorenzo ran alongside as the bus began to move. Lena leaned out the window. We will share again in America, she called. So clearly her hope is that when the sign comes the next time, that Feroz and her grandmother will be on the sign and that they will be relocated to America and they can um, meet up and share the sandal. So that is the book, 4 Feet, 2 Sandals. Now I asked the question, what did Lena and Feroza share besides their sandals? And they do help each other. They they share stories about their lives and their memories. And they share the same culture. Um, and then I also asked you and ask you what you think, what does it mean to be a good friend? But instead of that question, I want you to think of a time that someone shared something special with you, and what was it? Oh, a good book. Yeah, I've had really good books. I'm going to share some of my good books with Miss Glen for the upcoming school year. Um, Anybody else? What else has something special that someone has shared with you, and what was it? I know for me, my grandmother used to share um, her recipes, but she shared them word of mouth. Um, my my that's how they kind of um, passed along recipes in my family, and you don't get exact measurements. You kids probably won't understand, Miss Glenn might understand, but it's like a pinch of this, a dash of this. You put some milk in it. You got to eyeball it. But the stories behind the recipes were really are really awesome, and they're memories that I keep with me now that my grandmother is no longer with me. Okay, thank you, Cam. I think that's right. Well, Miss Glenn, at least you had a sister to share a room with. I had brothers, and
No, I never had to share. So my brother got lucky with that. And we grew when I grew up, well, even now, thank God I have three sisters and one brother. And so all of the sisters, we all had to share rooms, but my brother always had his own since he was the only boy.
yeah,
Um
I always had my own room because I was the only girl, but it was a different type of sharing. You know, they came in and took my socks.
kind
They
of
call
free
it
reign.
sharing, I call it stealing, but you know.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that book. I love that book. I love that a lot because when you started, you asked the question. Well, you asked a few questions. Think about what someone has shared with you. You told us to think about. Let me go back up to the top. You told us to think about what it means to be a good friend. And there's so much that we can take from there because even those girls who had so little, like they didn't let that get in the way. And so, one big lesson that I take away from this book is that in a friendship, it's not all about having something so big to give to someone else. Sometimes it's just about being there. Sometimes it's just about sharing time because after the girls became friends, they started spending a lot of time together. They started building memories together. And so I think that's a big part of friendship, like creating those memories.
Think about the time we in now. We, those of us who are sheltered in and can't
Mhm.
go anywhere. We're having to build memories and share with our friends over mediums like this
Right, right.
because we can't be in close proximity of each other. So
Absolutely.
it's a cultural change even for us.
Absolutely.
This is one of my books that I will share with you, Miss Glenn.
Well, thank
And
you
some of
so
the
much.
lessons that I've taught because they're so. It's one of those books that you can keep going back to. There's
Absolutely.
so much in it.
Right, right, absolutely. And the kids, they loved it. I had quite a few kids. Good book, great book. Bye, great book. And thank you to all the students who are watching. I see Kamora was here, Kennedy was here, Sean was here. Thank you guys for sticking with us and communicating, and anyone else who's watching. And again, those who are watching the replay, thank you for taking the time to join this. And I hope as you listen to the book, you are able to think about some of the things that you share with some of the special people in your life. So thank you, Ms. Waymyers, for giving us such a great book to end the week on. And with that, I'm going to say good night to everyone. Have a
Bye.
good Friday and have a great weekend.
All right. Bye.